Hey, what is up guys? So I have a special duel for you guys today, and it is going to be between a Yubel calculator deck versus a Horus Hieratics. So a lot of old school decks over here, but anyways, let's go ahead and briefly explain what's going on, because you know it's kind of going fast on DevPro. So our player goes ahead and activates reinforcement of the army, searching out Armageddon Knight. He's going to send a Yubel to the graveyard, because you can special summon Yubel from the graveyard with something as simple as Call of the Haunted or even the Limit Reverse. So that's going to be the extent of his play. Our player activates Trade-In, sends a Horus to the graveyard. You don't actually really want to draw them. He MSTs during the end phase, hitting a treacherous trap hole. Then our player in the front is going to be able to bring back Yubel, normal summon the calculator with 4,800 attack. So I mean that's almost game right there. I mean, so he's going to go ahead and attack. So he's going to take a significant amount of damage. But then there is this card over here, Swordsman of the Sealing Sword. Now this guy, he might have his name changed, but this card is actually really good. So his effect is when an opponent monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then destroy that attacking monster if the defense is higher than the monster's attack. An XYZ monster that was summoned using this card as XYZ material gains this effect. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. So I think that is pretty awesome, but unfortunately that's going to really suck for our player in the front, because he's not going to only just lose Armageddon Knight, but if you guys haven't been familiar with Yubel, during the end phase, you do have to tribute one other monster or destroy this card. And then whenever this card gets destroyed, except by its own effect, which means that you can't tribute anything, basically, he gets to special summon a upgraded version of Yubel. So he has to, unfortunately, get rid of his calculator, which definitely does suck. But calculator, it did its damage. You know, that was an insane amount of attack for the calculator. So I guess my player ends up sending a mythic wood dragon just to get a card in the graveyard, perhaps just to even survive, because sometimes Yubel can get pretty nasty. So our player activates Dark Hole, and he's going to get rid of everything. And then we have Yubel, the Terror Incarnate, being summoned. Now this card is absolutely ridiculous, because this card gets an effect when this card leaves the field. So that means regardless, it doesn't even need to be destroyed. Whenever it's like, you know, if you got a card that sends it to the graveyard or, you know, compulses that, you still get its effect. So this card is very nasty to actually run into when it comes out, but he's going to go for a Limit Reverse, and he's going to bring back Yubel. And then during the end phase, I don't really know why he did that. Perhaps he might be new to it, but this card has an effect that, where is it? Let me try to find it. So during your end phase, destroy all other monsters on the field. So he didn't really need to bring that back. I'm not sure really why he actually did that. He really didn't need to do that. That's really what it comes down to. You could have actually had an extra Limit Reverse. And I believe you cannot get the calculator, if you guys were wondering. Why didn't he just go for the calculator? Now, the calculator has a question mark attack, and this has to target a monster with 1,000 or less attack. So that wouldn't have been an option for him. But our player's going to go ahead and summon Debris Dragon, and you know, obviously having the Mythic Wood Dragon as a target would be pretty awesome. He's going to go ahead and XYZ for Maestro Symphony to Jin to flip that thing face down and try to attack it. Unfortunately, this card has the effect where it cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage. Basically, you need to destroy it by a card effect, and then it gets to still special summon another card. So this card actually gets really nasty if it just sits on the field, because during the end phase, you destroy all other monsters on the field. So that, you know, that's your opponent's and yours. So I guess it's kind of fair in one aspect. So he can just sit there with this card, and this card gets really nasty. So basically, you have to get rid of it by a card effect. And our player's going to go ahead and XYZ for this card over here, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. Now, I'm not sure if this card is out yet, but it's got a pretty decent effect. So it's up to twice per turn. During your main phase 1, you can detach one material from this card, then target one special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if it was an XYZ monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So that can get actually pretty nasty depending on some of the matchups, because you can maybe even OTK them if they have, you know, the right amount of XYZs on them. And this card can still attack the same turn, so I think that that is pretty awesome. So he's going to be able to destroy that card. Remember, he still can activate this card's effect because it's up to twice per turn. So he's going to be able to, unfortunately, get rid of like the best version of Yubel. So this card is actually really good. Once it comes out, usually it ends up being game breaking, but a lot of players don't even really play this. They generally just stick with the, like, I guess if you want to call it like the level 2 Yubel, and this would be like the level 3 Yubel. This one over here is pretty nasty to run into, but this one is pretty good. Lets you kind of go on the aggressive side. So basically, it can't be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from it. And then basically, whenever you attack, you inflict damage equal to the monster's attack, and then you also destroy the monster. So pretty much, Yubel loses to things that destroy. Unfortunately, once this card comes out, there's sort of like, it doesn't like re-special summon Yubel. Otherwise, it'd be like a loop that would be, you know, kind of too good in the game, but pretty darn good from our player in the back going for this card. I really didn't expect him to throw out that card, but definitely it's an interesting deck. I mean, it's Horus. So unfortunately, that Grepher over there is going to get killed by Horus level 6, and then Horus level 6 it gets the effect that once it destroys a monster by battle, you get to just go ahead and special summon Horus level 8. So Horus level 8, if you guys haven't seen this card, it's a really old card. It's a really old way to play. It was actually a lock. It was called like basically you'd use Horus and you have Jinzo, and you'd basically lock out your opponent pretty much from everything. But Horus makes it so your opponent can't use spell cards, and there's no cost. You don't have to discard, you don't have to mill. There's no like downside to getting out Horus, and end phase Space Typhoon is activated, which is pretty good. Hitting that Call of the Haunted definitely does help. So Horus is going to attempt to kill the face down, but Spirit Reaper comes and saves the day, so that card will get quite annoying to deal with. Our player in the front right now, playing the Yubel deck, he's got all spells, and that's just unfortunate. There's not much you can do. And Gauntlet Launcher over there, which basically just targets one card on the field and then destroys it. But then Spirit Reaper would say, no, you can't destroy me by targeting. I will destroy myself, because as soon as he's targeted, he is then destroyed. But unfortunately, now he's going to take some damage, and then it's just going to be pretty much game because, obviously with all these spells, and then he draws into another spell, so at that point he can try to activate it, but he's going to be trying to special summon this card over here, Doom Shaman, and this card is actually pretty good. I never thought of this card in Yubel deck. So it's a Gemini. If you guys are unfamiliar with Geminis, basically you have to normal summon them twice, and then they become effect monsters, and the effect of this one is once per turn you can special summon one fiend type monster from your hand or either player's graveyard. So I think that is pretty darn awesome, but it does technically have that negative effect of when this card is removed from the field, destroy all fiend type monsters special summoned by this effect. But that actually kind of works in this deck because Yubel, obviously he'd probably be going for Yubel, then that card would destroy Yubel, then Yubel will then get its effect. So I think that is a really cool combo. Unfortunately, Horus is probably going to say no to that. He activates MSC in response. For what reason, I don't know, because Horus can keep on negating. It's not like Light and Darkness Dragon, where it is a mandatory effect, so it's not really like the end of the day, end of the world for him. But yeah, very cool decks out of both players. I thought that was a really cool duel between two decks that really don't see that much play. I think that's interesting seeing also the Mythic Dragons incorporated into the Horus, because the ability to just go for, if you were even playing Level Eater, you can go for rank 7 XYZs, and obviously if you have that water, I can't click anymore, but if you have the Water Dragon, you can make a lot of different stuff. You can make Felgrand is probably one of the best XYZs in the game that's rank 8 right now. But yeah, pretty cool decks out of both players. I was just hoping to see that calculator come back into the game and do some heavy damage. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes signing out.